My name is Darian Acosta, and this is my journey to faith. So, my life before Islam, I come from a Christian household, and I was somewhat raised Christian. My family kind of had a rough time laying strong groundwork and keeping a Christian household because I grew up around my grandmother, who was very Catholic, and I was dragged to Catholic Mass every Sunday for hours on end, or at least when you're 4, it feels like it's on hours on end. But as time went on and we kind of grew farther apart from my grandmother, that religious background kind of faded away, and my dad still tried to cling to it because he felt that religion or Christianity was very valuable and a strong part of his character, and so he tried to impose that on me. But as time went on, that background slowly faded away, essentially. And so starting in middle school, I didn't really connect with any religion. I was still dragged to church on occasion, but I remember I would leave church and really feel like I got nothing out of it. And I think that was one of the red flags that Christianity wasn't really for me. And I remember I was watching an interview on the internet one day, and this man who was being interviewed was asked what his religious affiliation was, and he said that he was agnostic. And I remember when I first heard that term, I had no idea what it meant, but I remember looking it up, seeing the definition, and I realized that was what I was. And so I was agnostic for much through my adolescence, through high school, and that was what I pretty strongly believed in before I learned more about Islam. In high school, I was part of the International Baccalaureate program, which is a culturally minded program, but in the size of the program and its impact varies depending on the school district. But in my particular school, there were 7 other students in it besides me, which is incredibly small. And one of them was a Muslim, but I was not sure, I didn't really think anything of it. But as time went on in high school, and again, I was agnostic, I realized that there was a hole in my life, and I kind of craved a religion. It was kind of a weird sensation that I was feeling, but I wanted to believe in something, but it was just a matter of I didn't know what exactly to believe in. And so my plan was to kind of investigate a bunch of different religions and just see which one fit me the best. But Islam just it was first on the list, mostly because information to learning more about it was the easiest to access for me at that time. And so I remember I learned more about Islam through my friend in high school, and we still talk today. We're still good friends today. And I talked with her family. I also made some other friends who are Muslim, and I learned all I could before I graduated high school. And then once I graduated high school and went to SMU, I purposely sought out the MSA because my friend was telling me that they had an MSA there. And so going to college, starting my first year of college was a big part of kind of steering me towards the Shahada, because first of all, I started learning Arabic. I came to SMU planning to minor in Arabic because because it's a very closely related language to the religion, and I wanted to understand the religion. I wanted to understand as much as possible, and I constantly heard that knowing Arabic was a critical part of Islam. So studied Arabic, joined the MSA, learned all I possibly could, and after a while I told my friend, at the time his name was Ahmed, I told him that I was ready for the Shahada, and him and a couple of my other friends took out of the kindness of their heart, they scheduled the Shahada at a masjid near their home. And those were the events that led to my Shahada. The things I love about Islam are kind of interesting, but I really like the rules and all the guidelines that come with Islam. I feel that a lot of Americans maybe feel that Islam is kind of strict, more on the strict side, compared to other religions. And I think that's a kind of a true statement, but I also, in my opinion, I think that's how religion should be. I think that all the rules that come with Islam make it what it is, and it's essentially, it's a necessity, and it kind of keeps people in check. And I think that was, for me, that was what was missing when I was in a Protestant household. I think Muslims have more things they need to do and more things they need to follow compared to the previous household I was in, which is something that I really enjoyed. So my biggest advice for Muslims in regards to converts are that you need to be more open with converts and more accepting. I'll explain what I mean with an example. Because when I first joined the MSA, I remember feeling kind of out of place. And I think a lot of converts may feel that way. That, for example, when I went to the masjid for the first time, the first time I went to the masjid, it was before I converted. I kind of went there just with my friends to see what it was like, and to see that kind of environment. It was very, very new experience for me. But when I went in there, it felt like the spotlight was on me in a way, because I felt like people could tell that I wasn't a Muslim. And that converts, I didn't really think anything of it, but at that time, I felt like if people were more welcoming of sorts, it would have been a more comfortable transition for me. Because then later on, after I converted, even before I converted and went to the first MSA meeting, I still felt that, because it was like I had trouble connecting with everyone else, just based on that it seemed like everyone was wired to a certain setting that I had yet to be wired to, in the most weirdest metaphor. But that would be my advice, is just to be kind of more welcoming to converts. My advice to non-Muslims in understanding Islam would be just to have a more open mindset. I feel like that could be a beneficial characteristic in regards to everything in life. I feel that a lot of people are a bit too close-minded, and they're not willing to understand cultural differences from other areas around the world or other religions. So really just being willing to understand that there are differences between you and other people,